What is going on, snipers? Naeem Al-Obeidi here. I hope you're all enjoying your day today. Let's go ahead and dive right into our daily cryptocurrency content and analytics for today. We're going to be taking a look at the top 3 undervalued cryptocurrencies. Knowing that the overall market is at a discount right now, it's important to realize and be aware of which cryptocurrencies are undervalued, because remember, liquidity will divide upon the majority of coins. It won't necessarily go to all of the coins. So there are going to be coins that are left out within liquidity, which means that they have better opportunities to gain higher price traction when we start to see the price swing up. But looking at Bitcoin's technical analysis first and foremost, you can see here we are forming this overall pennant here, and we are now approaching the RSI level at 30. And in my opinion, we've seen this time and time before, but it is now time to start dollar cost averaging your position into Bitcoin. I believe that we may see some further lows over the next few days, but I don't think we're going to see anything significantly lower than where we're at now. At most, in my opinion, if we were to bounce off of 6,800, 6,900, that would be the healthiest area for Bitcoin, so that we can confirm this triple bottom, which, as we know as technical analysts, is a very strong support level and a pattern that could show us that we're going to be extremely bullish over the next few weeks following the triple bottom confirmation. So we're definitely waiting for that right now. You can also see with the MACD, we're starting to see these sellers even out. We're not necessarily seeing an influx of sellers, and we're not also seeing an influx of buyers either. If you check the volume, we're not seeing buyers or sellers, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. Remember, understand, if people aren't selling Bitcoin, that means there are people that are hodling it right now, but there's also not a lot of catalyst allowing buyers to come into this market right now, which is why we're seeing the consolidation that we're seeing at the $7,400, $7,500 price level, and right now right around 7,000. So in my opinion, nothing to worry about at this point. I think more importantly, we need to pay attention to which coins to start dollar cost averaging your position into. By the way, if you guys remember Convesting, they just launched their cryptocurrency exchange. If you don't know what Convesting is, you can see here, the new platform will offer a fully functional digital exchange and will rank traders according to their performance. So it's a pretty cool program. I just wanted to mention that. And then checking out this article, another headline here, Bitcoin fees at its all-time low since SegWit adoption has been rising over the past couple of days. You can see here, Bitcoin might not be seeing the greens right now. However, it is certainly improving its status as a currency. And this kind of brings me to a point that we've talked about in the past, but Warren Buffett is one of the most successful traders in the world. He is, a huge prominent name in the investment community, and I think he has over $200 billion of cash flow. And what's interesting about Warren Buffett is he made a majority of his wealth off of the Coca-Cola stock. And the reason he was able to was because there was a point in history where Coca-Cola stock had plummeted, and Warren Buffett was one of the only investors to say, I'm going to start buying a ton of this stock because now it's completely undervalued. And people were calling him crazy. They were like, Warren, why are you buying Coca-Cola right now? It's down, it crashed, it's not going to go back up. And he was like, well, I walked into a restaurant and they offered me Coca-Cola, and I realized that the actual product has not changed, right? And it's the same thing with Bitcoin. The product has not changed. As a matter of fact, it's getting better and better and better. So even though the prices are low, the product is getting better and it's increasing its intrinsic value. And we know this is an emerging market. We know this is the next revolution. We know the blockchain and the effects of that. We know the storage of value and the aspects of Bitcoin that are extremely limited in value, which allow it to have value. And because of that, in my opinion, we are going to start seeing buyers come to this market very soon, especially as regulations start to mature. So let's first talk about our first undervalued coin of this quarter or of this video, and the first one is going to be OmiseGO. We've talked about other coins in the past, like the Binance coin, Zilliqa, both of those coins seeing exponential gains after we had mentioned them. But OmiseGO is doing something interesting. If you don't know OmiseGO, it's actually been around for quite a while. I would consider it a legacy coin, but if you look at its chart here, what I really like about its chart right now is the fact that it's approaching accumulation zones. And you can see here, back in April 8th, we saw this huge buy volume come in for OmiseGO, and this right here typically indicates institutional money coming into the market. And you can see it was when OmiseGO was pretty much around the same price level in which it's at right now. So knowing that smart money came in around this price level, and then also understanding that OmiseGO has been making headlines. You can see here OmiseGO making a headline, roadmap update, how are the changes going to impact OMG's future? They pretty much released a whole development map of what they expect to do over the next couple of months, and it says here, once all of its upcoming and ongoing developments are completed, this currency would become even faster, more scalable, and convenient for its traders. So knowing it has all of these things in development, it has a clear development roadmap, and they're obviously developing, and with price levels approaching smart money levels in which institutional investors have in the past invested into this coin, in my opinion, this is a coin that is looking poised for a nice breakout over the next few weeks. And you can see we have this ascending support line forming as well, and we are right at that support right now. And in my opinion, this is a very undervalued currency. You can see with the RSI as well, we just bottomed under 30, and it's looking like we're about to triple or double bottom here at under 30, initiating more confidence in me knowing that the last time we had a triple bottom here, you saw how the price levels increased parabolically. If we actually look at that, we actually went from this price level all the way up to around here, and we saw over 80% gains just from that previous double bottom. So I'm expecting very similar gains sometime soon for OmiseGO, and this is one of the coins that I'm extremely bullish on. So Roman says, sound is extremely overpowered. I do apologize. Let me actually improve the sound here for everyone and see what's going on. I do apologize. Do you guys hear me fine? Is it fine? I mean, do you guys hear me? Let's see here. Is everything working properly? All right. Is this better? All right. Hopefully this is a little bit better. I do apologize about that. What is going on here? Wow, the whole system is going down on me. Oh man, that is not good during a live stream, right? It's all good. We'll get that fixed in literally 1 second. Bam, check that out. Done and over with. So let's take some audience questions here and see what people have to say about what's going on and what we just talked about with OmiseGO. Somebody says, you're good, bro. Kevin D. Filipio. Jamal says, critical system failure. Not really. Christian says, yes, better the sound. Nice. Jim says, I heard you say OMG is undervalued. The sound is definitely messed up. Okay, awesome. Johan says, I can hear you fine. Thank you for the confidence, Johan. We need that confidence right now with everybody saying that it's not working. So, somebody says, love OMG. Awesome. So, the next undervalued cryptocurrency apart from OMG is going to be Icon. And the reason I am choosing Icon is for a lot of different reasons. Number one, if we do pull up its technical analysis here, you can see Icon seeing a major dip here with some sell volume coming into the market. And what I like about these coins that we're choosing is the fact that sellers are starting to panic, in my opinion. You know, we've got a lot of people that have been hodling for quite some time that are now selling their positions. And for us buyers, I think that's the perfect opportunity to get into that position, because now we understand that even with OmiseGO approaching its institutional zones, ICX is also approaching zones in which in the past we've seen large buy volumes come into fruition. So you can see here, institutional volume right around 2,907 Satoshis, and we're currently right at 3,100 Satoshis, approaching that institutional buy zone. And what's also interesting about ICX is we are starting to head under 30 in RSI. Remember, the last time we touched 30, look what happened to ICX. If we were to pull up price levels, you can see here, when ICX touched that level, we went and saw over 80% gains. So another undervalued cryptocurrency below the moving average, below the EMA, and I think it's one to definitely watch as we expect the next bull run to come up. ICX making headlines constantly. You can see here, partners up with Samsung thanks to its chain ID. If you don't know, Samsung is developing a project called Samsung Pass, and they're utilizing Icon for their chain ID system. So a very interesting coin, one that I believe is undervalued and definitely approaching zones in which in the past we've seen institutions buy in. So it's definitely a smart area for traders like you and I to get a position in. And then the next coin here, Cardano. We've talked about Cardano for some time now. And if you don't know, Cardano is a project that has been in ongoing development for quite some time. And if you see here, recently making some headlines today, their first smart contract testnet is up for Cardano. And what's cool about Cardano, it's almost like a pre-EOS, right? We remember when EOS had its testnet, at least its first testnet launch, and that was pre-current prices, obviously, and we saw exactly what happened with EOS when that mainnet was due to be launched, and then that hype started to build. And I'm expecting something very similar to Cardano, knowing that this RSI here is also about to bottom out under 30, and the last time we saw that, we saw parabolic run-ups occur here. You can see we went from these lows all the way up to about over 100% gains. In my opinion, we're approaching another institutional zone here as well. You can see in the past we've seen institutions buy in right around the exact price levels that Cardano is sitting at right now. So in my opinion, it's also a very undervalued currency right now in regards to price levels as well as intrinsic value. So what do you all think? Any requests, any questions on what we've talked about today? Let's see. Danger Close says he be shillin'. Well, you be shillin', brother. Let's see. Somebody says Mitnick is undervalued. Awesome. 300 likes to shave right side of the face. Jose Shavira. I'll take the offer, but I just don't see it happening. Every time we do these shaving for likes, we never hit it, so it's kind of immature anyways. Somebody says, hey, Naim, what do you think the red days is going to stop? Adel Aziz. I think it's going to stop very soon. RSI is already starting to dip below 30. I definitely expect a big swing very soon. Tyler says, TRX, your video from 2 days ago. What about TRX? So if you guys want to understand the play with TRX, here's what I would recommend. Wait to initiate your position after mainnet launch. But I believe after its mainnet launch, shortly after we see the dip, we're going to see all-time highs. So what I would do with TRX is allow this to start going back down, let this RSI cool off a little bit before initiating a position, give it some time to be sold before initiating a real position into Tron. Understand that we made the video saying it's going to go up after the mainnet, but that doesn't mean it's going to go up immediately after. You can probably get the best position shortly after the mainnet is launched. That's what I would say with Tron. And the same goes with EOS. If you haven't initiated a position yet, I would hold off on that just for now until mainnet launches. Give it a little bit of time so you can see what happens as that is occurring. And you can see with EOS especially, we're about to have this MACD crossover occur as well. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I think EOS is a little bit different than Tron because with Tron, you can see RSI is quite high, but with the MACD, we're crossing down, right? In comparison, and also with the histogram, we're starting to see sellers in comparison to EOS, where we're starting to see more of those buyers come in and a crossover to the positive, which is very bullish. So that's kind of the play there. Let's see here. Crypto Angela says, DigiByte TA. Thank you for the super chat. Let's do the DigiByte TA here and check out what's going on with DigiByte to the Bitcoin pairing here. And looking at DigiByte, you can see we're actually crossing down below that 50-day moving average right now. You can see volume has been decreasing. I don't see too much bullishness with this pattern. You know, we are forming somewhat of a fractal cup here, but at the end of the day, you have to understand that this RSI right now is still within that neutral zone, and in my opinion, there are better bets right now in the market where you can make more money, just like what we talked about right now with some of these coins that are completely oversold, like OMG, Icon, and Cardano. So I would say there are better bets in this market right now. Mad Mining says CMT looks like a huge cup and handle on the daily from Jan onward. Also, thoughts on the project in general? Thanks. I haven't looked into that project, but we don't mind looking at the technical analysis here for CyberMiles. Looking at CyberMiles, you can see we've got this parabolic run up. I would definitely not initiate a position anytime soon for this coin. RSI levels are overbought. We're in a down market right now, but we're up with this coin. So if we're going to expect the market cycle to occur sometime soon where Bitcoin is going to start seeing newer highs, then this coin is probably going to see a retracement in regards to that if it's acting as a hedge against Bitcoin right now. So if you don't know what a hedge is something that acts inversely to another asset class. So this is obviously acting inversely to Bitcoin since it's ascending right now while Bitcoin is dropping. So in my opinion, I would say when Bitcoin starts to go up, which is what we're expecting, this is going to also act inversely and start to drop, and we'll start to see sell-off. and especially because the RSI is a little bit high, I'd be a little bit careful with this coin mad mining. So it's already seen its exuberance. Don't FOMO into it. Fear of missing out. It's something that plagues all of us traders. So let's pop our guilt-free soda. Aki Hali Kaid says, how low do you think XRP can go? Do you see 30 cents? So listen, this video, we're talking about 3 undervalued cryptocurrencies. That doesn't mean there aren't other undervalued cryptocurrencies in this market, right? There are a ton of cryptocurrencies, in my opinion, that are going to see a large increase in price levels when Bitcoin makes its reversal. And the reason I say that is you have to understand that when liquidity is going to come into this market, it's going to come into the majority of the market. But what's going to happen is some coins are going to rise higher than others. So let's say Bitcoin goes up 10% tomorrow. Other coins will go up 15%, if not 20%, while other coins will go up 7% or 6%. So the best position you can make is for the coins that are going to have a more extreme reaction to Bitcoin's price action. So coins that will see 15% increase when Bitcoin goes up 10% are the coins you want to have positions in, because that's where you're going to get the maximum amount of profit. And that's what we're talking about in regards to undervalued cryptocurrencies. And the reason it's like that is there are so many coins in this market. If we were to just take this top 20, for example, when this market is showing positive sentiment and people are becoming more and more confident as Bitcoin heads to these oversold levels, they're going to start buying into these altcoins. But the problem is everyone has their own decision in which altcoin they want to purchase. So what ends up happening is we'll see more liquidity flow into some coins than other coins, right? And it's typically coins that either have recent headlines, recent developments, recent news or things of that nature in fundamental sense that will see that liquidity. So that's why we're talking about the top 3 undervalued currencies. But at the same time, the majority of these are going to see exponential run-ups. Now, Ripple is definitely a coin that I've been eyeing over the past few months now, that they're starting to create more and more partnerships with brands and companies that are outside the financial institutions and the banks that they were initially working with. So the reason I'm starting to like Ripple more and more is it seems like they're trying to become not only a solution for banks, but also the alternative in which retail consumers are utilizing their coin to purchase everyday items. If you don't know, there were some headlines today about Ripple being used for real estate transactions in California, right? There's also a PR stunt that was done recently with the Ellen Show with Ripple, right? They wouldn't have done that if they were aiming towards institutional buyers or banks. That was obviously a PR stunt geared towards the majority of retail investors and the general population, obviously. So knowing that they're starting to target that demographic, in my opinion, it's becoming more and more of an intrinsically valuable project to me. And then alongside with that, yes, they have a huge max supply of coins, but at the same time, they are constantly burning coins. So knowing that they're burning coins, just like BNB, it's going to create more exclusivity for their coin over time. So hopefully that was something that could help out. Future Star 30C says Ripple was made by the government. It was actually by Jed McCaleb and Brad Gardinghouse, which are current CEOs. And prior to that, it was a different CEO, eventually forked and then went and created Stellar to kind of oppose against Ripple and unbank or bank the unbanked. Tony says, can you explain a flash drop? Why does it happen and how to catch it? That's just when people pretty much buy out order books, right? You have people that have large amounts of capital and they bring in liquidity, whether it's towards the buy side or the sell side, and then you see flash drops like that. Danielle says Ripple with Amazon. Very possible, Danielle. But if I was Amazon, I would just create my own cryptocurrency, right? Like they might as well, because they can create way more of a valuation to their company if they were to do that. And you know what I'm thinking right now? Think about if you were Amazon, right? With all of this stuff stirring in the cryptocurrency market, they're most likely thinking about how to best approach this, right? They probably want to accept cryptocurrencies, but they don't just want to make a blind decision and say, okay, we're now accepting Bitcoin and Litecoin and Ripple. I think that they're trying to strategically approach this the way that any smart business would, right? Because this could eventually change their economics for the future and for a very long time if they were to come up with a way to tokenize an Amazon coin and then utilize that for transactions through their website. I think it might be more of a feasible and a smart option for them. And it's just something that we're going to have to let play out. But that's the point, though. Think about it. This is stuff that's happening right now behind the doors, which will eventually become news and which will eventually become, you know, surprising to a lot of people. But for us as early adopters, it's something that we're expecting. And that's why we're going to reap the benefits of this market more than the majority of other people. So hopefully that's helped out. Jim says, women have no place in crypto. Do we have a moderator on? Could we ban Jim? I really don't appreciate that comment. I'm actually going to ban him right now. All right, he's banned. You don't say that ever, man. That's not, that's completely, I mean, let's just move on. Somebody says, I'd be doing the modding. Somebody says, Juan coin looking oversold. Norbert says, bye, Jim. Bye, Jim. No more Sniper's Tube for you. Sucks for you. Kilo says, there's some hot crypto chicks. Have you not seen LOL? Danielle says, bye-bye. All right. Let's change topics. Any other questions before we wrap this baby up? Prince says, I don't get why people don't think like investors. They fall in love with their coin/tokens. Yeah, it's almost like a video game, this whole market, right? Some people are just like, oh, I love this token. The name is just amazing. Charles Mackinhill says, bye, Jim. Thelonius says, respect women. Women are to be treated as princesses, right? Anush says, I am trying to buy Sniper Chat, but stupid thing does not work. Well, just ask your question. Hopefully I'll see it. Emax says, Naeem is a wrathful god. Have you heard about the rumors manipulation on every 6 of each month? Yes, SXC Fitness. One of our analysts has been talking about that in the market health updates. And it just coincides with what our overall sentiment is towards this market, right? We're expecting this market to go up. I'm expecting this consolidation period to form possibly a higher high right around 9,000, maybe see another retracement, and then start to consolidate within the $8,000 to $10,000 price range for us to eventually allow more regulations to come in, maturation of the market for us to then break out of this overall pennant, to then start heading towards all-time highs gradually rather than exponentially now that you have the ability to short and leverage the market. Because of that, it's going to be harder for this to just see a parabolic run up like we saw in December. However, it doesn't mean we're not going to see all-time highs. SXC Fitness says, what would you do if you bought BTC at 8.5 thousand? I would just hodl onto it and just buy more right now and bring your average cost of purchase down so that when Bitcoin does see the swing back up, it's only going to take Bitcoin to go to 7,900, for example, for you to break even instead of breaking even at 8,500. Luke says, nice ban, Naeem. How can somebody that in such an innovative market have such an outdated mindset? It's not even an outdated mindset. It's a wrong mindset. Tyron says, what coin would you buy with money to transfer to Binance? BTC, ETH, or BCC? I would say Ethereum or Bitcoin. I mean, it depends on what you're buying, Tyrian. So go on Binance, check the pairing, and then see if it's paired with Bitcoin, Ethereum, or BCC. Because if you use Ethereum and it's not paired with Ethereum, then you're going to have to transfer it back to BTC. Somebody says, CBC was added to Binance, Skycoin a few days ago. How to trade this news when believing it's fundamental? I don't understand that 100%. WEED says, I just saved losing 20% by switching to trade like a whale. Okay, so now we have somebody promoting through our super chat. So we'll also ban him too. But thanks for the $5. Somebody says, I have a buy order for ADA at 0.146. Interesting. Somebody says, should I sell EOS and get back in after launch? I think that it's definitely a move that can be made. It's, you know, to be really honest, it's a really interesting question that you mentioned, because with EOS right now, we're kind of in this middle ground, right? Like, and agree or disagree with me in the chat if you guys do agree, but like the market is expected to go up soon, but at the same time, EOS's mainnet is going to launch and Tron's mainnet, and you're supposed to buy the hype and sell the news. So we're about to have the news occur, so we're expecting a sell-off, but we've already sold off quite a bit. So it's kind of like we're in this weird position, to be honest, that I, as a trader, can only do my best to analyze and say, well, if we were to pull up EOS's chart here, you know, yes, the RSI is a little bit high in comparison to the majority of the market. We did see a sell-off, but at the same time, we're right above that 50-day. We're still bouncing on the EMA, which is bullish. It's kind of like a hard proposition. I mean, I would say, the best thing that you could really do at this point is probably just lower your position. Maybe take some money off the table. Don't take all of the money off the table, because even with Tron, it's in the same position, right? Like, we're expecting the cryptocurrency market to go up soon, but at the same time, we're expecting people to sell the news on Tron. So it's like, what's going to happen, right? So I would say the best way to manage your risk in that case is just hedge against it with another coin. If you're not at a loss, take your position off the table, wait and see what happens before putting another position on the table, right? So it's really about seeing. Here's what I would say. This is what I would do if I were you. Watch the volume, right? Whenever we see the next big move in this market, which is going to happen when Bitcoin makes its move, watch the volume and to see, okay, is it going to be an influx of buy volume or sell volume? And then initiate your position based upon that volume that closes on the daily, or if not, on a 6-hour or above chart time frame, just because it's more confident and more accurate for what we're trying to accomplish with this method, which is basically predicting which way the price levels are going to go. Because in this market, you can predict price movements, but you can't predict magnitude. So that's what I would say in that case. Somebody says, if you hit 300 likes, pour the LaCroix down your short. You guys are insane. What are we at right now in terms of likes? I'm not going to be blind to this bet right here, but I don't mind doing it. I'm kind of hot right now. Weather's turning a little bit hot. We're entering summer. What are we at? 78. All right, deal. If we hit 300 likes, we'll pour the ice cold LaCroix down my shirt. Let's see what we're at. And the likes start soaring through the roof. I literally feel like my whole audience has their finger or their like button, like they're, theoretically they pretty much have it in their pocket. They just wait, and they're like, all right, if there's a good enough reason for me to click that like button, I'm gonna do it. And then when the reason comes up, they're like, all right, perfect timing, let's click it. Yeah, look at that. Now we're over 100. If we get 300 likes, we'll pour the LaCroix down the shirt. How about that? Somebody says, should I put money into Dentacoin? Have not looked at that. Anu says, it's Ramadan and you are not fasting. I actually am intermittent fasting. I just have to drink water just because of my health. I dehydrate really fast, so I have to drink water, especially because I work out almost every day. Emax says, do you think EOS could grow similar to ETH? 100%. I believe EOS, no matter what price level you got into EOS, I believe a year from now it's going to be a top 3 coin. Its market cap is going to surpass 20 billion, and it's going to go head to head with Ethereum. I think EOS is the one coin that's definitely going to do that. And then the other potential coins are Stellar, Cardano, Tron, Neo, and things like that. So, or coins like that, at least for now. And then there are other coins that are still developing, like, Zilliqa, for example, that will take a little bit more time. But I definitely can see EOS heading, straight against Ethereum, just because it's solving an issue that Ethereum can't necessarily solve and can never do, right? Like, Ethereum is never going to go from thousands of nodes, which is where it's at right now, where they have people mining Ethereum throughout the world, to centralized servers mining its coin and verifying transactions the way EOS is set up. So EOS is something that Ethereum can never be. Therefore, I think that it's definitely going to have its place in this economy, because this truly is a new economy. Black Crow says, I love your videos. Can you do a TNA for INS? I'm not going to do INS right now just because it's not as popular, but any other questions? Adel says, I am a patron. I have to say all the calls for the BTC were great calls for the last 5 months. Thank you, Adel. I appreciate that. Yes, if you guys are not Patreons, we do give out daily trend signals, daily education. If you guys want to know when to get in and out without having to do all the research yourself, go on patreon.com/snipers. That's patreon.com/snipers, and you can get into our Discord, and then we post our market health updates every single day. And now we're starting to do it twice a day, just because it's cool to initiate a prediction in the daytime and then solidify it in the evening. And it's almost like giving you guys this micro and this macro view of this market constantly. And it's really what our goal is with our Discord. We want our Discord to be that platform where you can just wake up, go to work, get your push notification, go into the bathroom and watch a 6-minute video, know exactly what's happening with the market, and then go back to work, and you don't have to do the research yourself. You don't have to do all the grind yourself. You don't have to do all the fundamental research. You can just get in and out every single day and get push notifications straight to your phone and analyze and research the market at your convenience. So that's really our goal with our Discord. So if you guys aren't on our Discord, that's a free resource. Link is in the description below. I highly recommend getting on our Discord. By the way, if you guys are rubies and above, we just posted our Ruby and above night owl that we had last night, which was one of the best night owls we've ever had, and it was because the questions were just on point. And that's going to be under premium education here on the Discord. So once you're on Discord, go under premium education, and then you can see Ruby night owl right here.
It's going to depend basically on the indication of the price. So what they do is everyday BitMEX, whenever you go on their platform.
So that is right there waiting for you guys. Somebody says, you give out a book yet? Why don't we do a book giveaway? We'll do a book giveaway soon. Somebody says 200 likes for cream pie to the face. I would do that for 300 likes, not 200 likes, because we're already at 167. I would have to go to the store, buy a cream pie, then go back on the live stream and do it. So that would be a little bit nauseating. Tony says, what's the best to buy and sell against the MACD or the RSI, and what time is best to watch? I would say RSI is the better one because the MACD is a little bit more of a lagging indicator compared to the RSI. Somebody says, well spent money on Patreon Ruby. Thank you. I appreciate that you're getting value from that. Matthew has a good thought. He says, what about the rumor about the institutional money coming in? Don't you think they will want to bring price even lower? You say we're about to go higher. Well, I just don't think they can bring it any lower. Understand that Bitcoin has shown some very strong support at these levels. And the reason I say that is, check this out. I'll draw this out for you. So volume is a good indicator of market sentiment, right? Because the volume is going to tell you where people are confident in buying or selling that asset class, because it's a determinant of supply and demand. And if you look here, we triple bottomed once, twice, and we're heading towards the third bottom here. The first time we hit, we saw one of the largest buy volume bars ever occur in the history of Bitcoin, right? That obviously showed you people wanted this asset class at this price, and I wouldn't be surprised if institutional money came in at that price level as well, because it was a very predictable price level. Because understand, this was also when the RSI went below 30, right? People were literally watching it's almost like the institutions are like, all right, let's set up all of our trades automated as soon as the RSI is at 29.9. It's almost like that happened when this happened. So that occurred the first time, and then we saw another retracement, and then guess what happened? RSI dropped below 30, and we saw buy volume come in. It wasn't as significant as we saw initially, but it was definitely significant. What am I expecting this time around? The exact same thing to happen. I don't think they're going to be able to bring it lower. I think that as soon as that RSI hits below 30, people know exactly what's going on. And to be honest with you, it's probably the bots that are going to be trading Bitcoin when it goes under 30, right? These bots can be programmed. So I guarantee you, knowing that we saw these huge reversals every time the RSI hit below 30, I guarantee the bots are set in place to buy as soon as that goes under 30. So that's what I'm expecting, Matthew. Hopefully that helps out, brother. All right, I'm seeing CMT quite a lot. Let's do CMT right now, CyberMiles. Okay, that's one we already did, so I don't know why we're still talking about it. So let's go back to BTZ. Somebody says, what happened to all your other broadcasters? They're still there. We still got all of our analysts on Discord and Patreon, and we're making that happen. Somebody says, smash the likes, Norbert Chong. Any other good questions before we wrap this baby up? Danielle Rue says, can you put the 150, 365 indicator on BTC? We went below only in 2014. That is worrying me. I don't want to go back to 2014, Danielle, just because the market's so much different than it was in 2014. Would you agree or disagree, right? Like, I think it's very different. Yes, you want to look at history, but I just don't want to get into that rabbit hole right now, because yes, we can go through and say, okay, well, this happened in 2012, this happened in 2013, this happened in 2014, but we don't want to do that right now, I think. I like to look at recent past indicators or patterns, right? Like anything 2016 and beyond or something of that nature, because, you know, I was in this market since around 2010, and I've seen this market mature and go from a $100 Bitcoin to a $20,000 Bitcoin. And what I'll definitely tell you is, you know, the market has definitely changed a lot, especially after 2014, when we started to see more of these altcoins come to fruition, and then especially in 2016, 2017, when ICOs became a thing. that's when the market just took off. So Mr. T says, is market crash good for crypto? I believe it is. I believe this is not a market crash. This is just a confirmation of a bottom that we've already known, and we've double bottomed at, and now we're just going to initiate a triple bottom at. Somebody says, hit the like button so you can pour the LaCroix down his shirt. Yes, if we hit 300 likes, we pour the ice cold LaCroix down the shirt. What are we at right now? 200 likes? Yeah, we're at 200. You guys are ridiculous. Oh my gosh. Salmon says, will EOS drag down prices of ETH? Very good question. Here's my opinion on that. I think that there's definitely going to be an effect in regards to new liquidity flowing in, but I don't think it's going to take the majority of the current liquidity away from Ethereum. And the reason I say that is think about what happened with Ripple when it saw a parabolic run up from being in the latter part of the top 10 to now the number 3 coin. It really didn't take liquidity away from many of the coins. It just went to $3 and spiked parabolically on its own, and we saw more liquidity come in, right? I've never really seen much of a liquidity transfer in this market. I've only seen liquidity added, right? Like when I saw Bitcoin at a 90% market dominance to where right now it's under 40%, Bitcoin's price has, or its market cap has continued to go up for the most part in comparison to where it was when the market cap was at, or when the dominance was at 90%. So I think that in this market, it's such an early and emerging market that more liquidity will flow in rather than we'll see any sort of dumping. But I know people were talking about the flash crash that happened with Ethereum yesterday. I know it had a small flash crash. Ethereum and Tron both did, and people thought it was the EOS development team selling off their Ethereum. I just don't know how that would play in part, and I just don't have that information to be able to say that. Northern Light says, how about 200 likes and people stop the stupid like requests? How about, I'll take that one. And now we're at 208. So there you go. No more like requests. We've hit 200. Good one, Northern Lights. So let's see here. Hank says, what if we break down the pennant? As a trader, we should be aware of all the options. Oh, absolutely. If we break down through this pennant, I just would say, in my opinion, we wouldn't go too much further down. I wouldn't expect the body of this candlestick to break down. I think that if it were to penetrate this pennant or this known ascending support level, it would most likely be the wicks of the candle that would penetrate it. But if the body of the candle were to penetrate it, I think we'd have a little bit more of a worrisome correction. And not only that, I would say that it wouldn't last too long anyways because the RSI is so oversold. That's just my opinion on that. So I just don't believe that would happen. And even if it did happen, it wouldn't go so much lower to where we'd have to really be in panic. I think that we'd have a little bit of room to think about what we want to do at that point. But in my opinion, it would be a time in which you really have to reconsider the amount of investments you have in the market, because at that point, I wouldn't feel comfortable selling off positions because I still expect this market to go up over time, and I have the majority of my investments in places in which there is current intrinsic value. Therefore, I wouldn't be too worried about the long term, but obviously for the short term, it would be a little bit worrisome to me. So hopefully that helps. Mr. C says, you the man, love your analysis. Thank you, brother. So what I'm going to do, actually, why don't we continue this conversation in our Discord? If you guys are on our Discord, it's a free resource, but we're going to be joining the voice chat, and I'm actually going to go in there right now and take a couple of live questions from the audience, but I'm not going to be in there too long, but you guys can chat after I'm there. But we're all going to head over to our Discord. So if you're not on our Discord, the link is in the description below. If you are a gold Patreon member or above, you'll have access to our general talk channel here. So we're actually going to all join into the general talk channel. You can see I just joined in right now, and I look forward to seeing you guys there. I'm actually going to move everyone into that just because I'm going to close out this Night Owl chat here. This is actually where we were last night, but everybody flow into the general talk channel. We'll continue the rest of this discussion there. So how about that? Let's see if anybody currently has their mic. Anybody have their mic in already? Interesting. Okay, yeah. So we're going to head over to our Discord. Thank you all for tuning in to our live stream. Somebody says, what is the Patreon? Our Patreon is where we do daily trend signals. We do daily market updates. So we'll send a push notification to your phone with a 6-minute update of the market. And that's if you are a Patreon member. You got to go to patreon.com/snipers. That's patreon.com/snipers to join. And then if you guys want to be a part of our discussion, we're actually all going to join in. You can plug in your mic and then turn on your push to talk, which is going to be under your user settings, and then just click push to talk under voice activity. But I'd love to see some of you guys in our Discord. Thank you all for tuning in. Mitnick 2014 says, we don't have access to general chat. You should have access if you are a gold member or above. So all gold members and above can join in. So anyways, thank you all for tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed this live stream, and I'm going to see you guys at our Discord. Somebody just says, what are my thoughts on Neo? And I'll answer that in the Discord and have an actual conversation that's two-way, not one-way, which is why I like Discord. So see you all there. Thank you all so much. Love you all. Snipers out.